This is Long Way to the Top, and I'm your host, Shane Bryan. In the words of the immortal ACDC, it is harder than it looks. These interviews will give you a glimpse into the lives of the artists that we've sung along with, danced and rocked out to. Some go deep into their past and others celebrate their recent releases. But all of them show that regardless of who you are, it's always a long way to the top. Today on the show, we dive into an interview I did a little while back with my Bad Boys co-host, Andrew Hackett. We chat with Gary Stringer from Reef, a band that created one of the most iconic songs in history. Reef had a massive hit with Place Your Hands On, a video that became an MTV favourite, and a history of studio albums that established the Glastonbury band as the rock favourite around the world. When we spoke with Gary, the band had just released a new single and a new album of the same name, Shoot Me Your Ace. We chat with Gary about the new music, the ACDC inspiration, the Duran Duran connection, and the misheard lyrics that leaves Andrew speechless. This is Gary Stringer from Reef on Long Way to the Top. Gary Stringer from Reef, how are you doing? You're not on video there, mate.
Yes, mate. Just woke up having my first cup of tea down here. How you boys getting on?
We're doing good, mate. Thank you.
Yeah, we're great. We're great. Loving it. It's the other side of the day here.
Nice.
Yeah, it's drink o'clock.
Drink o'clock. That's right. That's right. So we've got a rum in our hands. Do you have a rum in yours?
No, I got a cup of tea, and yeah, it's good. Yeah, we've got the sun shining here. Sun's just come up, so yeah, happy Christmas.
Sorry, I was just about to say, you said the sun was shining, so that's one of 3 days where you're from, isn't it?
Mate, we've had a pretty good last couple of weeks. We've only had rain twice.
Wow.
Oh, Jesus, I'll tell you what.
That's a drought.
Better than Australia.
You sent all your rain down our way.
Now,
mate.
Now, Gary, we've got we want you to just to settle a bet here. We've been listening to your song "Place Your Hands On."
Seriously, you're going to go there,
I am going to go there because Andrew always sings "Place Your Hands on My Hole."
It's a common problem.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Right. I literally in the last 30 seconds where I was singing and stuff, and Shane's just gone, no, mate, no, that ain't the lyrics. I'm going, no, fuck off, they're not the lyrics. Of course they are. And I've just looked them up, and I've gone, oh my God, they're not the lyrics. It's Place Your Hands on My Hope.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Place your hands on my hole. Let's just investigate that as a line for a minute.
You know what? I've got to say, that has been a fabulous pickup song for me for many, many years.
And you think it's because you thought it was Place Your Hands on Your Hole?
Funnily enough, the girls I was playing it to did too, and they were more than happy.
Oh, happy Christmas. Look, that's wicked. That song is huge. All over. It's bona fide hit song, and it's still selling 1,500 copies a week. It's massive. That song's got its own lifeblood. I'm real proud of it. And yes, it's Place Your Hands on My Hope.
Yeah. I mean, that song when it first came out, there was no holes in the video. The video was actually freaking amazing.
Yeah, I remember it all too well.
It's amazing what you can do in an orange room, right?
Yeah, it was actually the orange room was inside a massive warehouse, and we had the curvy wires which flew us around, and we had massive water jets. I mean, it's daft to think in the current climate that we all live. That video back in 1990, whatever, 6, cost £250,000 to make. I mean, it's just a colossus amount of money, isn't it, to spend on a music video? Yeah, even the normal videos would cost, 70, 80 grand. But that one, I think they thought the song was special. I think Muff Winwood at S2 recognised, that it had something about it. And they went all big guns on it. And, spent £250,000.
I'm assuming it's made its money back and then some.
Yeah, it's been pretty successful. Like I say, I mean, there's actually a Twitter account. For those of you who fancy delving into Twitter, there's a Twitter account at Place Your Hands that charts exactly how many copies it sells every week, which is, someone's pastime. But yeah, good luck, and
I love the fans.
It's a huge record for us.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah. Now, look, I'm listening to this new album, which is "Shoot Me Your Ace," and
bloody fabulous.
Oh, got to say, it's up there with, and I'm just going to throw a bit of an Australian band out there. It's up there with ACDC, mate.
Mm.
Oh, bless your heart. Well, that's my first hero was Bon Scott.
Oh.
I had High Voltage on a tape cassette. That was my first ever album I owned. And, Rock and Roll Singer really was my roadmap, just listening to those lyrics. That helped me. I left school, grew my hair, and here I am today. So got a lot of time for ACDC. The tones of those early records, the guitar tones, just so clever.
Yeah,
so clever. And,
amazing.
Malcolm and Angus doing their thing. And hey, you lads might know, was there a third brother involved in engineering those early records, or have I got that wrong?
Yeah. Oh, no, there was, and there actually still is.
Wow.
He actually runs Albert Studios.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was behind the scenes, wasn't he?
Yep. He's made a great deal of money. And in fact, the company that actually owns ACDC, or I don't know whether they still do, but they used to own all the radio stations around Australia. They made more money on ACDC than they did on the radio stations.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, some of those guitar sounds early doors were, obviously the guitars still sound great today, but especially, those first few records, the tone is so beautiful, so pure. And I could listen to it all day long.
It's raw, isn't it? It's like really,
raw.
really
raw.
raw.
It's fabulous.
Yeah. That's Angus Young for you. He's just got, and Malcolm, bless his soul. He passed away recently. It's really sad. But they just knew how to play the guitars.
Yeah, it's wonderful. And thank you so much. That's a real compliment for us. And I think it's one of the best records we've made. Shoot Me Your Ace. And last summer, I don't know where you guys are with lockdowns and whatnots. We're kind of coming out of it here. And last summer, we were just starting to open up. So we did a few musical festivals, and we went out and played Carfest, which is
nice.
Obviously outdoors, and 30,000 people. And we started the set with Shoot Me Your Ace, which no one had heard. They hadn't heard that song. And just before we started, I thought, oh, have I made an error here playing this song first? But it connects with people straight away. We just come off a month-long tour here in the UK, all the way through April, and it just connects. And when you got a banger, and Shoot Me Your Ace, the song. The whole album, I'm really proud of it, but that song, everyone gets it straight away. It's wicked.
Yeah. Okay, big step putting that up, for the first song, but the audience reaction, you must have realized then that you were on a bit of a winning formula, and you knew that the song, when it came out, was
absolutely. When you play songs during a set, you'd have to be blind to the world to realize which songs people love and which songs they're not so fussed at. If everyone makes a run for the bar or for the toilets, you got to miss. And if everyone's down the front going crazy with their tongue out, then you got to hit.
Do you get sick of playing Place Your Hands On? It's got to be the one that everyone gets.
No, why would I? Why would I? No, I don't understand that. I know that there are musicians who maybe it's musicians that are more successful than me. I don't know. And maybe they've got a plethora of songs that they can throw around. But for me, I love it. The song makes so much sense. It brings so much joy. It's a pleasure to sing.
That's got to be the key, right?
It's just a good, it's a song that makes me feel good every time I sing it. I haven't sung it once where I thought, oh, not this again. It's I think that doesn't add up in my mind. I wish I had more songs like Place Your Hands, not less.
Yeah. Well, I think you have with Shoot Me Your Ace. I think it's got to be up there, because it's a real cracker. And you had the pleasure of working with music royalty, Andy Taylor from Duran Duran.
Yeah, he's a clever stick. I went and sung, quite a few years ago now, 3 or 4 years ago now. I went and sung a few songs for him out in Ibiza. The phone went, and I think he'd heard me singing a song called Machine with a band called Skindred. Right. And he liked the vocal on it. And flew me into Ibiza, the Spanish island, and we worked on a few songs together, and I went away and he rang me back and called me, I got back over there and did a few more. And that was really good fun, a real eye-opener, really enjoyable. And then he came over to England for whatever reason, and it was the summertime, and we got him up at Glastonbury Festival. We had a show at Glastonbury Festival, the famous music festival here in Somerset. And he came and rocked out for like half an hour of the set, met the boys, got him down to our headquarters, where we rehearse, where we store our gear, where we can do some recording. And we just started noodling together and jamming. And I think he loved it, and we certainly did. Before long, we're playing every day, and then you're starting to accumulate riffs and ideas, and they turn into songs. And it didn't take very long until we had, the best part of an album, in front of us, staring us in the face. So the obvious thing to do was to go and record it, and that's what we did. Yeah.
And so you recorded this during the whole lockdown period, yeah?
Just before. So we actually sat on the record for 18 months. We went up to, you guys might think I'm talking fluff here, but this is the truth of it. We'd been trying out different drummers as we were writing, and we got this fella called Luke Bullen to come in and play the drums with us on a Wednesday there. He knew Jesse, the guitar player in Reef, and I think they bumped into each other in London coming out of a lift or something daft. But anyway, he got him down, and Luke's played, with Joe Strummer, Brian Ferry, and, Katie Tunstall. He's done some big gigs, and he came in and we cut 6 songs in our studio on the first day, bearing in mind he's never heard these songs before. And then the next day he came down, we cut another 6 just to sort of demo standard, just trying him out, just sussing it out. And we were fairly impressed, we think this guy, geez, I mean, he's world class. He's, you're working with Andy Taylor, who's a world class guitar player and producer. And this guy comes in and he's just knocking it out the park. And you feel the top of the league when you're playing with him. It's fabulous feeling. And we had the Friday off, drove up to London. And then the Saturday and the Sunday, we cut 6 songs each day. And we had basically the whole of this album done in 2 days. It was quite an incredible week. It was bonkers. I mean, we overdubbed a couple of guitar solos and I re-sung 1 or 2 songs. But the guts of that record, it was all done that weekend. And we came back to Somerset. And it doesn't sound true, but it is. We came back to Somerset and the whole country shut down. It was bonkers.
So, okay, does that mean that after that successful recording, you guys couldn't get out and get a little loose afterwards?
We couldn't. Exactly that. I went down to my local pub thinking I was, going to get on it after creating such a great vibe for a few days and working hard, and you're up late and then put your energy into it and you enjoy it and you want to come home and let off steam, and everything shut down. It was all the football matches were cancelled, or it was quite, full on. No one knew what was going on, or we did. We had our head up our musical asses, obviously, but the whole place just shut down.
I'm surprised Boris Johnson didn't lose his job just for that. Stopping you getting on the piss. I mean, that's a brave fucking move.
If
I mean,
only
really.
I had that power, pal.
Wow.
But yeah, I'll tell you what was good though. Well, I mean, the lockdown was weird. I don't know how you guys experienced it, but it's a weird scenario. And you make the best of what you've got, obviously. Yeah. But we're sat here with this record, which we can't really do anything to at this moment in time. And luckily we don't need to. I'm pressing play all the way through this year ahead of me, and it's just exciting me. And that's when I knew we got something real good here, because I don't know if you guys have ever recorded anything or, worked on a project creatively. Often you look back on these things and you think, oh, I wish I'd changed that. I wish I'd done this differently. That lyric is naff. And with this record, it was so good. I'm so happy with it. and the proof's in the pudding. You press play with music, and this one knocks you between the eyes. So I'm just really happy with it.
A different story when you're recording a podcast. You just put it out, and it's like,
Right.
You don't relive it, then, lads.
Andrew's never going to live. Place your hands on my hole down. That's going to become a little meme, I reckon.
It's not the first time I've heard it. It's not the first time I've heard it.
I seriously reckon we should cut a bloody song and re-record that one with those lyrics and stuff like that. I reckon it's going to go off.
There you go, mate.
Now, tell us about, there's a song on the album that I'm intrigued by. It's Wolfman, which is, probably one of the heaviest tracks, like it's almost like you've got a plank of wood and you've just hit everyone over the head with it. Right. I mean, that's kind of how it comes across. But more importantly, you brought on the skater, Eddie Belvedere, and you got him skating with a wolf mask on, right? Yeah. Now, how many accidents happen?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I think those guys live and breathe accidents. They're tough cookies, aren't they, those skaters? It's not actually Eddie in the mask. That's Ben Grove in the mask.
Ah, right.
Manchester, Ben Grove. But yeah, Eddie's skating on the video, and we were super stoked to have those guys come out and make a video with us. And the first one we had the Wall of Death with the bike. So, and we just felt like the skater thing was the right way to go for the second video. But that song was up and running within 30 minutes. I mean, it's just one of those songs that happens so quick, like Naked off our first record.
Right.
You've got the riff, you get the drums, where the drums come in, you get the melody, and we were just away. I mean, the whole thing was done and dusted in 30 minutes. We've been playing it live. Everyone seems to love it. It's a killer riff, and, that's hats off to Andy. That was one of his riffs.
Nice.
We were noodling away in the studio, and he came up with that, and the whole thing was written so quickly. And for me, the reason the skateboarding works on the video is that song's kind of saying, what a man can or can't do. That's it. There's nothing else. It's just what you can and what you cannot do, and that is what life is. And we like headbanging.
Yeah, nice.
You hear about when stuff just kind of flows through you, right? It's almost like you're receiving a message from the universe or whatever like that. And you hear authors talking about it and blah, 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 blah. Is that where the real gold is in your mind, where something comes together literally in that kind of 30 minutes like you talked about, as opposed to what I struggle with a lot of modern music, where it's remixed and overmixed so often and they spend months trying to get it right, and the actual outcome's kind of just a little bit off. It doesn't have that soul behind it.
I think if you're listening back to something and you're getting a high hit off it, you don't mess about with that.
Right.
You leave it be. It's that if it's not broken, you don't piss around with it. I mean, I think when people get to a point where they're spending, and we've done it. We spent months, making our third record and spent, hundreds of thousands of dollars making this record, and it was great fun, and I loved it, and I wouldn't change it. But when you're spending, days and weeks on end getting a snare sound, it's like, guys, come on. You bring in people who know what they're doing, and you crack on and you get into your music. I mean, that riff came out, we brought the drums in, we knew what we were doing with the beat. The melody comes in, the chorus wrote itself, the whole thing just, maybe we're riffing off each other, but it happens so quick. And I think a lot of the good ones do, not all of them, but, a lot of the good ones come out real quick because they're obvious moves. What the song's, trying to do, where you're trying to go with it. And, it makes you feel a certain way, and you hold on to that. You don't piss about with it too much,
Nice,
if the song's not, hitting the spot, then you either bin it, you change it, and that's another story. No worries doing that as well. But, you've got to be honest with yourself. I think, like I said, with the lockdown, you press and play, makes you feel good, then, no worries, happy days. You've hit gold. And that's what I love about music is you've got nothing. There's nothing there. It's just your imagination, you and your friends, with your guitars. And I think that's so cool. I love that. I love making something out of nothing.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah. Now, in 2016, you did a couple of gigs with Coldplay, and
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just going to say that there are bands like Coldplay, and look, hey, I'm not knocking them. I think they've done an amazing job, but they just get softer as they get older. Whereas you guys, am I being politically correct here, right?
No, hey, everyone's got an opinion. I mean, look, they're a huge band. I mean, we played. Look, Chris used to come and watch us when we got signed before them, and he's from Devon Way, and he I remember him coming down to a show before they had a hit song with Yellow. They came down, and he was in the watching the gig and soaking it all up. And I got a lot of time for the guy. I think he's very clever. I mean, if you're in that, have you ever been to a stadium and seen them play a show?
Yes,
no,
I have. Yes.
So there's something about the songs that he writes that have got a sing-along aspect that is pretty fucking impressive. And you might not like every single song that they do, but if you can't look at that and go, you know what, that's clever, then music's a big ocean, and we can all swim where we want, right? Look, I mean, you're not going to find me knocking those guys. They're
no, and I certainly wasn't knocking them either. You're what I'm sort of bringing to the forefront is an analogy of where bands sort of they want to experiment, like even U2, they remove that rawness that they used to have right at the start, and they play with sort of different.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I think for us, we've always tried. We've done R&B, we've done bits of R&B and bits of gospel and rock and roll. And I think it was obvious with this record that because we had, even on the record before Revelation, which had a couple of big metal bangers on it, the song, the title track Revelation's a rock song, and Precious Metal, which is actually another one of those songs. When we played it live, we knew it was just going to work.
Yeah.
But the biggest hit off that album the last album, Revelation, was How I Got Over It, which is a gospel cover, really. Big gospel choir on it. It sounded absolutely fabulous. That was a really good vibe. But we've always tried to, within the bounds of rock and roll pop music, we've always tried to experiment. And I think with us, if you've got two guitars in the band, so when Andy steps up with his guitar and he's playing, we've only ever had one guitar player before. It creates this rock and roll sound. And if we go hard and large, we go hard and large. And we got, Andy loved ACDC. It was one of the bands he used to love. He made his living really with Duran Duran, had huge pop success internationally, in America, all over the world. And, he did the Power Station as well, which was more rocky, but I think his heart is in rock and roll. So to have that songwriting talent and have two guitar players rocking out, it leads to a heavy record, man. And I'm so glad of it.
Nice.
So it's, I grew up with metal. Metal was my first love. DC, rock and roll, I'd call ACDC, but it's got that rhythm, and I always wanted to be in a band with that rhythm, make the girls dance. It's I don't want to be playing to a sea of just guys. I like to have girls and boys rocking out and enjoying themselves, and that's exciting. But before I got into any sort of R&B or blues, I was a metalhead. I was into Metallica. I was into Iron Maiden. And,
nice.
I love headbanging, and I love rocking out.
Yeah. And you've certainly done it with this album, I got to say, and it's out now. Are there any plans for you to be coming down under to do some gigs?
If we don't come to Australia in the next 2 years, we want bloody shooting, because I love the place. I love Australia, and we've always tied it in with Japan. We do Australia and Japan. It's a really good trip.
Nice.
And we haven't been to Australia for too long. In fact, the last time we came to Japan, we didn't hop over to Australia. So if the management don't sort it out, we're going to have to shoot someone.
And you're with an Aussie label now too, I heard.
Yeah, how about that, eh? Isn't it funny how the world goes?
It is.
it's up and down, and you go around, and we've just always enjoyed playing music, and we've been lucky enough to make a living from it. And people still like listening to us make a racket, and to have someone working on your music as far away as you boys are is fabulous.
And I think every country around the world that's had long periods of lockdowns and stuff like that, I just think we're ready to kind of get a little loose, kind of go a little crazy and have some good music.
There's something in that. There's absolutely something in that. This tour we've just done, so we're in May now. So a year prior, so April the year before, we were still in a lockdown here, for that month. And we released the dates for this tour. And I'm going to say, I was against it. And the management got it bang on. They said, by the time this year goes round, everyone will be keen. And this is exactly what we found. I mean, all of these rooms we've just played to were full. It's people full of energy and excitement and enthusiasm. And people been cooped up and they want to come and rock out. And
get out.
As long as it's safe to do so, amen. Let's rock on.
Absolutely.
Okay, I got to ask, and this is a question we ask a lot of people we have on the show. Where was the point, that single moment, where you look back on and you just sort of think, and even at the time, it might have happened on the night, and then afterwards you're looking back on it, where you've just gone, oh fuck me, this rock and roll shit is real for me?
Well, I've been lucky enough to have a few, but I suppose a gold standard one would be just after Place Your Hands. We went on a TV show here called TFI Friday with Chris Evans.
Yes.
We did a performance at the tea time. It's tea time show before everyone went out on the Friday.
Nice.
We did a performance on there live to X amount of millions of people. Wow. We drove up to North Holt, to the airport there, the private airport, got on a private jet, flew over to Denmark, I think it was, and out of the window on this private jet, we saw Halley's Bot, the comet.
Oh, very good, yes.
And it was just one of those moments where you go, wow. We've just done a TV show, we're on a private jet, we got the comet out the window, we got a full house show in Denmark. And that was pretty special.
Doesn't get any better than that.
It's right.
One last thing. Favorite place that you've played? Favorite gig that you've done?
Oh, I'm going to go right close to home. Glastonbury Festival. If you boys have never been, it's worth a trip. It's a valley. It's a huge area of land that if you walk from one side to the other would take you hours. It really is very special. It's eclectic. There's all sorts of different styles of music, not just that. People doing all sorts of different arts. It really is very, very special.
Nice.
There are gigs within there that got, the amount of stages, I don't even know does anyone know? There's a program, isn't there? It's like, there's so many stages with so many different styles of music and culture and art. And it really is something very special. And I'm proud of it because I come from around here. I grew up in Glastonbury, but it really is world class.
Nice.
Yeah, we have to get there one day. We have to.
You got to do it, boys.
We have to. Thank you so much for joining us. You're an absolute legend. And Reef, I got to say, is back with a vengeance.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks for listening. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Long Way to the Top. Hit plus or follow to subscribe to the podcast and head over to Facebook at the Long Way to the Top podcast and give us a like. Keep on rocking and I'll catch you on the next episode of Long Way to the Top.